The story begins with two brothers, Sergey and Dmitry, who are brought to northern Ghana by their father, Nikolai, on a hunting trip. Their target? A legendary lion known as the Tsar lion, a beast rumored to have killed over 3,000 people. Nikolai wants his sons to become strong, fearless, like him. But as the boys walk deeper into the wild, they fall behind, distracted, just talking to each other. And that's when the Tsar lion appears. Sergey instantly steps in front of Dmitry, telling him to stay behind. He raises his gun, aiming straight at the lion. But then, something strange happens. Instead of pulling the trigger, Sergey just looks into the lion's eyes, and somehow, the lion senses his calm. It doesn't attack, but suddenly, Nikolai fires a shot at the lion. That single gunshot changes everything. The lion, now furious, charges straight at Sergey. Nikolai fires again, but it barely affects the beast. The Tsar lion grabs Sergey and disappears into the wild. Meanwhile, somewhere else in northern Ghana, we meet a young girl named Calypso. She's sitting with her grandmother, playing with a set of mysterious cards. But her grandmother stops her and says, "These aren't just cards. They show the future. They guide us." She asks Calypso to pick 3 cards. Calypso does. Her grandmother reads them carefully. The first card means the women in your family are powerful. The second shows a terrible tragedy is coming into your life. And the third represents danger. Then she says something even more serious. "I was going to give you something when you grew older, but it seems you'll need it sooner." She hands Calypso a small vial, a magical potion. "This has been passed down through generations," she explains. "Anyone who drinks this, their wounds will heal incredibly fast. You'll need it soon. But remember, you must never tell your parents about this." Sometime later, Calypso goes on a safari trip with her parents, but she's not interested in animals at all. Instead, she keeps thinking about the cards. Without telling anyone, she quietly steps out of the vehicle and walks into the jungle alone. As she moves deeper, she sees something shocking: the Tsar lion, and in its jaws is Sergey. But strangely, the lion doesn't harm him. Instead, its blood drips into Sergey's wounds, and then it simply walks away, leaving him there. Seeing Sergey barely alive, Calypso quickly gives him the magical potion. As the potion takes effect, Sergey begins to see strange visions, but he still doesn't wake up. Calypso runs back and tells her parents. They immediately call the forest guards. Soon, a rescue team arrives and rushes Sergey to the hospital in a helicopter. Before he's taken away, Calypso quietly places one of her grandmother's cards in his hand. At the hospital, doctors try everything to save him, but eventually, his heartbeat stops. They declare him dead. However, 3 minutes later, Sergey suddenly comes back to life. The lion's blood has merged with his own, changing him on a genetic level, giving him the powers of the lion. The doctors are completely shocked. Sergey wakes up, confused, and asks about the card, but no one knows anything about it. Soon, Nikolai and Dmitry arrive and take him back home. Later, Sergey finds a letter from his mother. In it, she writes, "Forgive me, I couldn't stay. Your father left me no choice. But promise me one thing, never become like him." Not long after, Nikolai calls Sergey to him. He's angry. "You put your life and your brother's life in danger by not shooting that lion. You're weak, just like your mother. If you stay weak, your enemies will use it against you." Then he adds, "One day, you'll take over my business, and Dmitry will go back to New York to finish his studies." Then, Nikolai shows him something horrifying: the severed head of the Tsar lion. Seeing this, something breaks inside Sergey. He's filled with rage. "You killed it, but honestly, it should have killed you." With that, he walks away, slams his door shut. That same night, Sergey quietly packs some money and his passport. He's about to run away, but Dmitry stops him. "You can't leave me alone with him." Sergey replies, "Something is happening to me, something I don't understand. I need to go to that place where we used to picnic with Mom." And just like that, he leaves, leaving Dmitry behind, hurt and angry. Sergey boards a ship and travels to Russia. He heads toward that old picnic location, but suddenly, a massive herd of wild buffaloes appears. Seeing them charge, Sergey freezes in fear and closes his eyes. One of the buffaloes suddenly stops right in front of Sergey, and strangely, the entire herd runs past him without touching him. Sergey stands there, frozen, but nothing happens. After a moment, even that last buffalo quietly walks away. After that, Sergey finally reaches the place, the same spot where he used to come for picnics with his mother. And from that point on, he decides to stay there, living alone in the wild. Day by day, he begins to understand his abilities. His senses sharper, his strength beyond human. He's changing. One day, he comes across a group of poachers. They've killed wild buffalo and are cutting off their horns. Using his enhanced vision, Sergey spots them from far away. He rushes in to stop them, but by the time he gets there, most of them are already gone. Only 2 men remain. They warn him to leave. But Sergey doesn't back down. Instead, he kills both of them. Now, we jump to the present day. Sergey arrives at his mother's old property by plane. Meanwhile, Dmitri sends him a voice message. Dmitri has a unique talent. He can mimic anyone's voice. This time, he imitates their father, Nikolai, trying to scare Sergey. But Sergey already knows, so it doesn't work. Around the same time, a group of poachers enters Sergey's mother's land. They kill more buffalo and load the horns into their truck. But as they try to leave, Sergey suddenly appears right in front of the truck. They don't stop, so Sergey jumps onto the vehicle and takes down 4 of them, brutally. At one point, he even tears off a man's ear with his teeth. Seeing this, the remaining poachers panic. 2 of them escape in a vehicle, but Sergey isn't done. Using his enhanced vision, he memorizes their license plate. The surviving poachers rush to their boss to report everything. But when they arrive, Sergey is already there. Their boss is dead. Sergey had killed him earlier. Before they can react, Sergey takes them out too, using a crossbow. Then he pulls out a diary and crosses off another name and walks away. Next, we see Calypso again. She's attending the funeral of her friend Samantha, who was murdered. Suddenly, Sergey appears there. He approaches Calypso and hands her a card, the same card she had placed in his hand years ago. Seeing it, Calypso is shocked. Sergey tells her, "If you hadn't helped me that day, I wouldn't be alive. I know about your friend, Samantha, and I also know the police weren't doing anything about Semyon Chorny. So, I took care of it myself." Calypso can't believe it. She goes home, checks the news, and finds out that Chorny was actually killed inside prison. The next day, she goes to meet Sergey. She says, "I never asked you to kill anyone. I'm a lawyer, but what you did wasn't wrong." Then she looks at him carefully. "I know your father. Are you like him? A gangster?" Sergey replies, "I grew up watching my father do terrible things. He thought I'd become just like him. But after I met you, everything changed. I left him and chose a different path. Now, I hunt people like him. Bad people. The news calls me the hunter. But I prefer Sergey." Then he adds, "I know your law firm deals with dangerous clients, and I have a list of people who deserve to be stopped. If you give me information, I can take them down." Calypso looks concerned. "If you keep making enemies like this, your loved ones will be in danger, and one day, you'll regret it." With that, she walks away. Next, we meet Alexei. He arrives with his partner, John, to meet Chorny's former associates. Alexei offers them a deal. "Work with me." One of them laughs. "I've heard people call you Rhino, but honestly, you don't look like one." Alexei smirks. Then, he opens a tube attached to his body, and suddenly, his skin starts hardening. His body begins transforming into something monstrous, like a rhino. One of Chorny's men panics and starts shooting him, but the bullets do nothing. Alexei calmly pulls them out of his own body, then returns to normal. Another man tries to shoot again, but before he can, a sniper from Alexei's team takes him out, along with his guards. Now only 2 men remain. Alexei repeats his offer, and without hesitation, one of them shoots the other and joins Alexei. Following Alexei's orders, the new partner is sent to kill Nikolai at his hotel. Years ago, Alexei had offered Nikolai a partnership, but Nikolai rejected him and humiliated him. But Nikolai isn't an easy target. He senses the danger. With the help of his guards, he kills both the attacker and Alexei's men. Dmitri was also at the hotel that night, but as soon as the gunshots started, he panicked and hid under the piano. Seeing this, Nikolai loses his temper. "In my own club, I was attacked," he says angrily. "And you didn't even come to protect me? You are my biggest mistake." And with that, he shoves Dmitri away. Meanwhile, Alexei finds out that all his men are dead. Then he gets his hands on a prison escape video from Russia and finally realizes the truth. Sergey is the killer. the one the world calls Kraven. So Alexei hires someone dangerous, a man known as the Foreigner. The Foreigner heads straight to the same prison where Chorny was killed. He starts searching for clues, tracking the hunter's trail. But a guard shows up, and in seconds, the Foreigner traps him in a terrifying illusion. Disoriented, helpless, the guard loses control. The Foreigner takes his gun and kills him. Now, back to Sergei. It's Dmitri's birthday, so Sergei joins him at a club. Soon, Nikolai also arrives. For a rare moment, all three of them sit together, drinking, like a family. But Dmitri drinks too much. He gets completely drunk. So Sergei brings him home, puts him to bed, and stays there for the night. But Sergei can't sleep. He starts hearing his mother's voice, echoing in his mind. Restless, he steps outside and lies down under a tree. The next morning, Sergei walks back inside, but something feels wrong. Dmitri is gone, and on his bed, there's blood. Panic hits instantly. Sergei rushes to the terrace and sees a group of men dragging Dmitri into a car. Without thinking, Sergei jumps straight down from the terrace and sprints after the car. He catches up, jumps onto the vehicle, and tries to break the window, but the car is bulletproof. He can't get in, and eventually, he falls off. The kidnappers transfer Dmitri into a helicopter and take off. Sergei quickly sets up a trap, trying to pull the helicopter down, but it's not enough. He loses his grip and falls into the river below. And just like that, they're gone. Desperate, Sergei goes to Calypso. He tells her everything and asks for help. Using her contacts, Calypso starts tracking the kidnappers. At the same time, Sergei confronts Nikolai. Nikolai reveals, they're asking for $20 million. I don't have a problem with the money, but if I pay, I'll look weak, and everything I've built will fall apart. Sergei snaps. You've never done a single good thing in your life. No one respects you, and if anything happens to Dmitri, it will be your fault. But Nikolai fires back. You left him alone, not me. I protected him. The moment he was kidnapped, he was already dead. Paying money won't change anything. Sergei looks at him, disappointed. I always wondered what a truly great man looks like. Now I know. And with that, he walks away. Meanwhile, Calypso manages to track down the kidnappers through one of her clients. But there's a twist. The information was planted on the orders of the Foreigner, and even after helping, that client is killed. Calypso calls Sergei. The kidnappers are in Turkey. Without wasting a second, Sergei gets on a plane and heads there. He arrives at an isolated monastery where Dmitri is being held. Silently, Sergei takes out the guards using poison needles, then moves inside, taking down anyone in his way. Soon, the entire place is on alert. Armed men rush toward him, but Sergei moves like a predator, like a lion, and one by one, he eliminates them all. Finally, he grabs the kidnapper and dangles him out of a window. Where is my brother? He demands. But suddenly, a rocket is fired from a distance. Sergei reacts instantly. He grabs the kidnapper and jumps off the cliff. Mid-air, he positions the man beneath him, taking most of the impact himself. The kidnapper, barely alive, Sergei asks, "Who sent you? Where is my brother?" The man replies, "Rhino sent me, and now he's going to kill both of us." Before Sergei can react, the building above collapses. Debris crashes down, and both of them get buried. Moments later, Alexei's men arrive, searching through the rubble for Sergei's body, but Sergei is already gone. He pulls himself out of the debris, silently, then eliminates the two men without a trace. He calls Calypso. Someone called Rhino took Dmitri. He brought me to Turkey just to kill me. And now, he knows about you too. Go to the cargo terminal, he says. I'll meet you there. Without wasting time, Calypso grabs her grandmother's pouch and leaves her firm. The Foreigner arrives at the monastery in Turkey. As he investigates the bodies, he finds something important. A poison needle, made from a rare substance derived from a rosary pea. Just then, two police officers try to arrest him, but the Foreigner uses his powers, trapping them inside terrifying illusions. Confused, helpless, they can't even react, and within seconds, he kills both of them using the same poison needles. Meanwhile, Alexei believes Sergei is dead, and he's happy. He turns to Dmitri and says, "You don't know this, but we've met before. The day the Tsar Lion attacked Sergei, I was there." Then he drops another truth. "And your father refused to pay $20 million for you. That kidnapper wasn't even there for you. He was after Sergei, but since Sergei wasn't home, we had to take you instead." He smirks, and honestly, it worked out perfectly for me. Then he shows Dmitri the video of Sergei escaping prison. Next, Alexei reveals his secret. He shows Dmitri the tube connected to his body. There's a scientist, Professor Miles Warren. He was trying to enhance human strength. I wanted power, so I joined him. Because of his experiments, my body became like a rhino. Stronger, tougher, but also painful. As long as this medicine flows through this tube, I stay normal. But the moment I remove it, I become something else. Then he looks straight at Dmitri. "I'm about to take over your father's empire, and I want you as my partner." Dmitri responds, "My whole life, I've been called weak. And yeah, I want to be strong, but not by betraying my family." That answer makes Alexei furious. He starts beating Dmitri brutally. But before things go too far, John interrupts. Sergei is alive. Alexei stops, and right then, the foreigner arrives. Using his power, he freezes everyone in place, then walks calmly toward Alexei. "He killed my boss," the foreigner says, "and I've been hunting him ever since. Now, I finally know where he is. I found rosary pea poison at the monastery, and that plant only grows in a specific region of Siberia. So I'm certain that's where Sergei is." Hearing this, Alexei smiles. Now he has a target. He gathers his men, along with the foreigner, and heads out to kill Sergei. Before leaving, the foreigner shows Alexei a special weapon, a poisonous gun. Anyone shot with this will experience terrifying hallucinations, paralysis, and a slow, painful death. Alexei is impressed, very impressed. Now, back to Sergei. He brings Calypso to his mother's old property, but as they arrive, a panther suddenly attacks. Sergei doesn't panic. He recognizes it. It's been around since his childhood. He calmly scares it away. Inside, Calypso notices something surprising: shelves filled with herbal medicines. She looks at Sergei. "What is all this?" Sergei shows her the empty potion vial. "Since that day, I've been trying to figure out what was inside it, but I couldn't. Can you make more?" Calypso shakes her head. "My grandmother gave it to me. She said it could heal wounds instantly, but after that, I never saw her again. She passed away." Just then, Sergei gets a call from Dmitri's phone. "It's Alexei. I'm giving you one last chance. Join me." Sergei doesn't even respond. He just hangs up. That triggers Alexei. He immediately sends his men into the jungle to hunt Sergei down. The guards set traps everywhere, but Sergei senses them all and turns those traps against them. One by one, the hunters become the hunted. Even the panther returns, taking down a few guards before disappearing again. In the chaos, Dmitri seizes the moment and escapes, running deep into the forest. Hearing his men scream, Alexei loses control. He launches a full attack. From a helicopter, bombs rain down on the forest. Explosions everywhere. Fire spreads rapidly. Smoke fills the air. Using that smoke, the foreigner makes his move. He shoots Sergei with the poison gun. Instantly, Sergei is trapped in a horrifying illusion. He sees spiders crawling all over his body, dozens of them. He panics, terrified. The foreigner shoots him again. Now Sergei is weaker, disoriented, barely able to stand. He tries to fight back, but the foreigner is too fast, too precise. He beats Sergei down brutally. Sergei collapses, broken. The foreigner raises his weapon, ready to finish him. But suddenly, an arrow flies in, straight into the foreigner's eye. Calypso. She's standing there with a crossbow. The foreigner drops dead. Calypso rushes to Sergei and gives him the last of the potion. Within moments, his wounds begin to heal. His strength returns. Sergei opens his eyes again, alive, stronger than ever. John captures Dmitri and brings him back to Alisi. Since John had seen the foreigner attacking Sergei, Alisi is convinced Sergei is dead. Satisfied, he prepares to leave with his men, but suddenly, a massive herd of wild buffalo blocks their path. Seeing them, Alisi removes the tube from his body and transforms into the Rhino. At that exact moment, Sergei arrives, alive. Rhino charges at him instantly. The impact is brutal. He smashes into Sergei, sending him flying across the ground. The force flips Dmitri's vehicle over, but somehow, Dmitri survives. Sergei fights back. He pulls out knives and attacks Rhino, but it's useless. Rhino's skin is too hard. The blades snap like they're nothing. Rhino dominates the fight, punch after punch. Sergey is overwhelmed, beaten down badly, but Sergey refuses to give up. At the right moment, he grabs an iron rod and drives it straight into the tube connected to Rhino's body. Rhino screams. His system starts failing. Taking advantage, Sergey throws him directly into the middle of the buffalo herd, and within seconds, Rhino is trampled, crushed, destroyed. As Rhino takes his last breaths, Sergey asks, "How did you get that video of me?" Rhino answers, "Your father sent it to me." And just like that, he dies. Hearing this, everything becomes clear. Sergey confronts Nikolai. "I know what you did. You wanted Rhino dead, so you sent him after me. But what about Dmitri? Did his life mean nothing to you?" Nikolai responds coldly, "I knew you wouldn't kill Rhino if I asked you directly, so I gave him a reason to hunt you. And I also knew, no matter what, you would never let anything happen to Dmitri." Sergey looks at him, disappointed but calm. "I could have killed you years ago, but I didn't because you were my father. You taught me never to fear death. So today, I'll remind you of that." Sergey turns and walks away. And then, a bear suddenly appears. It charges straight at Nikolai. Nikolai tries to grab his gun, but it's empty. Sergey had already removed the bullets. With no way to defend himself, Nikolai is attacked and killed. 1 year later, Sergey visits Dmitri on his birthday. Dmitri tells him, "I met a doctor in New York. He helped me, changed me, but something feels off." Suddenly, a group of mafia members approaches Dmitri. Sergey is shocked. "I thought you were done with all this. You said you'd sell everything and walk away. I don't want you going back into that hell." Dmitri looks at him coldly. "You're the one who pushed me into that hell. You think you're better than Dad? You're worse. I know what you did. You had a role in his death. You think you're a savior, but you're just a man." He turns and walks away. Sergey follows him, trying to stop him, but suddenly, Dmitri transforms. He takes on Sergey's exact appearance. Sergey is stunned. Dmitri smirks. "You know, I've always been good at mimicking people, like a chameleon." Sergey asks, "Who is this doctor? What did he do to you?" Dmitri replies, "You always wanted me to stay weak, so you could look stronger, but not anymore. Rhino is dead. Dad is dead. Now, everything belongs to me. Before, I could only copy voices, but now, I can become anyone. You can't stop me." Before leaving, Dmitri says, "Dad left something for you." Later, Sergey returns to Nikolai's house. He finds a letter. It reads, "We all have to choose a path, and now, it's your turn. Follow mine, and it will make things easier for you." Inside the box, Sergey finds a jacket made from the skin of the Tsar lion. He puts it on and looks at himself in the mirror. Now, he's no longer just Sergey. He has become Kraven, a man who didn't just fight monsters. He became one. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and share, because the hunt is just getting started.